Hey, my friend, how are you again?
Hey, Aaron.
All right, all right. Hey, so, here's what I was gonna wanted to talk to you about, right? You and I have chatted about this offline and you're again, you live in Germany, Austria. What's going on over there in Europe now, right? There's a lot of things that we see. There's a lot of stuff on social media. There's a lot of stuff in the news. I know can't not say you see it. There's like a migrant challenge, right? Doesn't matter what religion, race, but there's issues right now in countries where we've observed without saying nothing negative about anybody that there's these things that are happening now in the streets in a lot of different countries, whether it's the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Poland, or not Poland, actually, Poland's actually doing really good, where you have these countries all over Europe where a lot of the migration, legal, illegal, they're not just coming in, which is, again, want people to get a chance asylum, but there's also people that are coming in that are trying to change the culture of the country. What is your thoughts on what's happening in Germany? What can you share, without, again, we don't know how bad it is or not, but is this accurate with what's happening in Europe? Because you live there right now. What's happening?
For us as Germans, it's sometimes a little bit hard to speak about kind of these topics because you know about our history, but I can tell you how it feels because I'm a German and I see many things and I follow politics. I always watch the news and I have my own opinion about some things. And I can tell you, yeah, there's some fake news in the media, but some things are really true. We have this kind of problems with immigration. Yeah, our chancellor also said we have problems in our cities with the picture of people who living in the cities. And this made a lot of controversials here in Germany. A lot of migrants, there was like demonstrating why could a chancellor could say this, but he meant this in a way that, yeah, the picture of the people they're living in the towns, it's changed all over the years. Yeah, there's more migrants and it is a little bit a problem because we had 10 years ago, 2015, this huge wave of immigration where people from Africa, Afghanistan, and Syria was coming, flee from the wars. Yeah. And the situation has not changed. The people still coming and it's getting too much for the cities. It's too less houses and yeah, it causes social conflicts, and the people many people feel insecure because when you change the picture of the people that live in towns, it feels like something new, and you don't know what this will end up in the future. It is still thing. Many people from the Germans, they're voting more extreme. Yeah, the this is like some of the people that vote for the left party. That we have 10% for the voters for left, and also now 25% they're voting for the right wing. But the right wing is not an extreme like at 50 or 60 years ago. No, this is like the new conservative. But some people, they don't want to realize, yeah, yeah, no, they say, hey, this will be like we had 1945 when we had war. No, the people, they have fear what's going on and they don't want to lose their integrity. Yeah. So I have to say, and
Yeah,
this.
I think what you're telling me is, you know, well, a lot of people in Germany, what you shared is some of them are scared to say something, even if they want to give an opinion. Nothing negative, but if we're giving an opinion of, again, migration, migrants, legal, illegal, whatever, I mean, asylum seekers, I mean, there are people that are legitimately seeking it to try to have a better life. There's other ones that are trying to sneak in, do illegal things, get away, and try to, what we have to face a reality today, whether it's in Germany, Europe, America, Asia, whatever. There's people that are trying to get in and infiltrate is the word they use. Now, I do believe, not everyone is having bad intentions, but I do think kind of what you shared, the fact that you as a culture in Germany, you live there, Austria, Germany, you're afraid to even open up because you're afraid of getting backlash from your government or people. But isn't that the point of why you vote people in government, because they're supposed to protect the people, right? You're supposed to protect the culture that's been there for generations. And if you have the migration and the people coming in, they want to influence, which again, people should have the ability to keep their culture, but you don't try to change the host country's culture, right? To whatever the dream is going to be, whether that's something that's perceived as negative or bad. But the point is, the host nation who's allowing this immigration to come in, you're not supposed to be taken over, right? And that's what you're alluding to here and what we're seeing.
It's
Again, you
common
viewpoint.
sense, yeah. That's common
Yeah, it's
sense. And
common
many
sense, right?
people, they don't realize that this is real, yeah. They're living in their own world and they say, hey, we cannot show an angry face when people want to enter our country. Yeah, that's true. Don't show an angry face and help the people. But when the people are here, they have to identify as themselves and have their own culture. Yeah, that's okay. But don't put the head under our culture. Yeah, we still have our culture, and we don't want to have like another culture here. This is
And
so
what and that's
important.
the thing I was gonna say. I mean, you're not against it, right? You're not against the other culture of the migrants or the immigration, but what it is, it's the I don't know. I see stuff on the news, but I also see things on social media that we have seen where you've got the German police, for example, getting people off the streets,
They
right? Like,
show
you
respect.
know,
Show respect
yeah,
to
there's a
all of
disrespect to the
people.
host country,
Is it
right? A
police
disrespect.
or is it army? A friend of mine is a soldier in the army, and he was in Mali 10 years ago. He was there for half years to fight against the terrorist organization there. And then he comes back, and then some people spit on him from the
Mm.
left wing. And this is not a cool thing, yeah, because he was fighting to help the people there, yeah. And then also people from our own country spit on our soldiers, yeah. So it's so crazy because people is getting so weird because they don't check what's going on really in this world. So
Yeah, it's a lack of at least be informed, right? Like, I get it. There's a deeper divide, in a lot of countries. Obviously, here in the U.S., there's a big divide, but at the same time, that's a distraction, right? With some of these other different groups, with whatever their missions are and the goal are in life. But for Europe, back to the question I asked, right? It's interesting what you share about your point of view with what you've seen happen in Germany. You guys feel like, hey, you got to be careful what you say. I don't think you should have to be able to be censored because you do have the ability and the freedoms, right? With what your government's supposed to protect the people that have lived there, have born there, especially the ones that are not, haven't migrated legally or illegally. But my point is, you guys have, it's your country, and you have the ability to kind of say like, hey, I respect you, but I also say, yeah, do your thing, but don't try to change this country's ways, because then it becomes an overtake. Imagine if that mindset was taken to all countries around the world. That's what makes cultures unique, because everything is different, good or
that's
bad,
why
it makes it
countries
different. You just
exist.
choose how to live with it. Yeah. And what's, for the people that are going through the stresses of it, what's your advice, like to the people, like, especially say Germany, right? Would you
My
say
advice is
continue
for
to
the
fight to believe?
people:
What's your advice to people about this
go
and what they?
out, make your own opinion, see what's really going on, talk with migrants, talk with the left wing, talk with the right wing as well. Yeah. Talk also when you have the chance with extremists. Yeah. Like they are like being saying stupid stuff, but maybe you can convince people if you have your own opinion, and go to elections and fight for yourself, fight for your family, and fight at least for your country. That's I have to say.
And yeah, I like what you said about, you know, it comes down to the election. It comes down to, like, it's not about convincing people. I think it's more of have a conversation, hear each other's opinion, have a conversation. But I do think, again, if I'm
Extremists
coming
convince
from,
extremists, but extremists, it's
of
always
course, we know
worse.
we
If
know
you
that's a
go on
different. Those
the left
yeah.
or right, let's find the middle always. And that's because I say the best thing is always when left and right communicate.
Yeah. And
Doesn't
I
matter
think
if
yeah, the whole thing is we're not in a lot of people's opinions and what we're talking about here. When you're a host country, And if, say, I moved to Germany, say me, right? I moved to Germany from the US. I'm not going to go to Germany and implement the US culture and say, you need to do this. Or I'm going to shout at the top of the rooftops to say, hey, I'm going to do this or else this, down with Germany or down with the people of Germany. No, respect the culture. I'll keep my culture too. There's spaces for me to do it, but I'm not going to go on the top of a roof with a speaker and say, this is my vision. We're changing Germany. I'm like, no, you guys are kind enough to take me in if I did that, right? So that's what you're saying, and what I agree with too. You respect it, but it's common sense. People have to use their heads and not get caught up in the frenzy of all this other stuff and get distracted. In the end, gotta really think common sense and think of the future of not just yourself, but your children and their children. So, all right. Well, hey, thank you. I appreciate it. As always, I want to say, it's always a pleasure to have you on. And, we call you our European brother. And my man, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.